Despite my last video, I honestly don't hate the show. I really don't. And I hope I got that across in that video. The problem I have is I don't feel the series has a proper appreciation for the expanded lore itself or how the series paces itself, or at least the tone. Despite this and the list, I still don't have any episodes I generally dislike. Overall, I found a lot of the episodes to be rather enjoyable compared to another show that I've been watching, Doctor Who. Ducktales has been refreshingly good. So, what are my three favorite episodes this season? Well, I don't think I have any, and maybe what I like more is just all the ideas they did, because a lot of those good ideas spread to more than one episode, so maybe we should just talk about the three things I really love about this season. Webby, Lena, and Violet. So, I didn't know how much I enjoy this dynamic between these three, and the stories that came from it were just examples of that. Lena being suspicious of Violet, how Violet's calm demeanor plays so well with Webby's exuberance and Lena's dry wit, but also how Webby is able to just bring these two characters together. But honestly, the MVP here the whole time has just been Lena, as she struggles with whether or not she can be her own person despite her origin as like an offshoot of Magica, and that her greatest fear is that she will become Magica. It's a really great moment. It's a great story because of that. I love these three. Della Duck. So Della was an interesting character for the show to bring up, and not enough I find I do enjoy her, especially when she acts more like a mom, or at least tries. Her dynamic with each of her boys has been great, and even tender with Scrooge and Donald, and even Webby, Launchpad, and Beakley. I still have one question in terms of Della. Who is the father? But okay, yeah, that one just sort of weirds me out, just because of how the series builds it up. Like, the question is like, who's our mom? Who's our mom? Who's our mom? Also, who's your dad? Like, who are your parents? And I get it, and expanded Duck universe lore. If you think whatever happened to Della Duck is a mystery, their dad doesn't even have a name. The Duck family tree doesn't even have his picture. A lot of people think they do, or at least you may see pictures of him on that Duck family tree, but what that actually is people took the Duck family tree to get signed by Don Rosa, and Don Rosa would draw you in that extra spot. So, whatever. I didn't really like Della in season 1, just because we had that great moment. She goes, oh, "Boys, that's it." That's not really much anything else to it, but she really does feel like a weird fusion of Dewey and Huey, in the fact that she seems very capable mentally, like she understands how things work. She understands the logical approach, but she's also just a bit on the over-exuberant side. Like, she's the one that can't wait to do something new and fantastic, and she has this great zest for life that Dewey has, but she again tempers that with Huey's practical knowledge, and that's great. Makes it great for a character, seeing her, how she has to play off of each of the boys, whether it be, calming Dewey down, helping Huey sort of come out of his comfort zone a bit, or understanding how important his comfort zone is to him, and even being a more strict hand with Louie, I felt was really great for her character and great for the show. I would like to see more dynamic between her, Donald, and Scrooge, because I think they might be the most competent team ever. So, heads up, my big theory at the end of the season, when, Fowl shows up and turns out it's the Vultures, my theory is, I'm not sure if I said it last video, so I'm saying it now, is that Fowl did intend for that ship to crash. So, like, the Cosmic Storm, I think they planned it. Just go with that. And the idea was, it was not intended for just Della, it was intended for Della, Donald, and Scrooge. Take all three of them off the board. At least that's what I thought. And finally, another great moment, this brilliant bit of work, Duck Knight Returns. Yes, it's an episode. I said we're going to go with the ideas, but just think of how this idea works. And I didn't think this was going to be good, and I wasn't sure where they were going to go with it or the episode, but oh my god, it was amazing. Jim Cummings gives a great performance as usual, reprising the role that was uniquely his, which is something he rarely gets to do. Like, whether it be Pete or Pooh or Tigger, he's always been stepping into the roles of someone else. Like, someone else did this role first, and he sort of has to play within those confines. But he was the only voice for Darkwing Duck and Drake Mallard. And here he gives, as the role of Jim Starling, Darkwing Duck, and surprisingly Nagaduck, he gives a really great send-off letter to the original cartoon, at least the character of the cartoon. The Drake Mallard of this timeline, of this continuity, he's a totally separate character, and becoming the hero we know almost gives the story a sort of an Earth 1 vibe, as ultimately the same character becomes the hero. But also we know this is about Jim Cummings through and through. And, of course, the Negaduck laugh. Last video I showed that this scene here was everything I liked and didn't like about the show.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. Whenever we remix, everybody hands go up, and they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there.
The reason is because Glomgold here lacks the dignity and exuberance and style of every other version of the character I've ever known. But at the same time, it's also funny. It's entertaining, you know. Like I'm shaking my head, but I'm also laughing a lot. And when I think of how reboots work, this might be the best reboot we've seen in a good while, because Teen Titans Go is just, it just works my nerves. It does. Like, even when I enjoy, even the moments I enjoy, I never quite find myself enjoying the show. Like, usually I'm watching. My favorite episode is just either the one where they do a parody of the Ducktales theme going, "We're rich," and the episode when Control Freak comes and it's like, "Yeah, I've rebooted the Teen Titans before, and your other version is much better." Or when the Young Justice team comes and berates them for that too. That's really it, and that's not fair to the show. But I don't think it's good because of that. And then of course something like Thundercats. Now Thundercats, I didn't even watch Thundercats as a kid, so I sort of appreciated the first reboot. I'd seen enough of Snarf to know that Snarf as a cat that didn't talk was great. But then the other one, I just couldn't. Like, I just knew. Same with She-Ra. I just knew. I'm like, you know what? Not gonna do it. But here, what we're seeing is not just with the DuckTales cartoon, but also with characters like Don Carnage and Darkwing Duck. We're seeing that these characters really do get the right amount of attention and love that they deserve here. So even despite all my objections to the show, its handling of the characters, especially Magic and the Beagle Boys, like, their villains just, I don't think are that great, because they often play it up for jokes. I like villains to be villains. Like, if you're gonna make them funny, they gotta be like dark funny. Or even again, that goes back to the tone, as well as how these mysteries are sort of paced out. And again, the lore bit, but overall, I still enjoy the episode. Like, I don't really care that, you know, Fenton Crackshell is Fenton Cabrera. I kind of do, because Crackshell is a fun last name. I don't hate the take on Gyro. Other Gyro is just much more endearing. He's easier to like. This one feels like Sheldon Cooper if he was a bit more well-adjusted and fused with Squidward. And I'm looking forward to seeing this new expanded Disney Afternoon universe. You know, Daisy's coming back, Goofy's coming back, Tailspin, the Rescue Rangers. Now, if only we can get my real Rescue Rangers team up idea, which is where the Rescue Rangers team up with the Rescuers, and then somehow team up with Basil of Baker Street for this amazing rodent Avengers take. That needs to happen. Someone find a way to do it. Anyway, with that in mind, brings the video to close here. If you're new to the Debugging Think Tank, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe. Check out some other videos, and I'll catch you all later. This is Debugging Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching, and as always, may your fandom serve you well.